any organization, any researcher would be able to offer information and or ideas and or solutions and or suggestions and offer any data that they're operating from or working from that would support that process. Yes, we're talking about managing masses of information. We're already doing that, by the way, in social media dynamics, not in these constructive ways. And we're doing it. Twitter is constantly managing information from billions of people, I believe, and as Facebook, of course. So we're not doing it in constructive, interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary ways, synergistically. We're not doing it in ways that are validating of individual empowerment and supportive of it. We're not doing it in ways that are synthesizing the collective perspective. We're doing all kinds of polls for political candidates to get short-term votes that can't directly culminate in resolution of climate change or transformation of the world into a sustainable life process for humanity. We're utilizing existing technologies that can do everything that needs to be done for very dysfunctional reasons and purposes that are divisive and separativeness creating, disunity creating, prejudicial and bias creating. And so that massive information would only be able to be managed via artificial intelligence, meaning the latest technologies for quantifying things, evaluating things, understanding information that is input. It would not be a feasible thing. You couldn't have 1 billion people online reading the texts of 3 or 4 billion other people and making sense of them. And it may be possible. I don't think it'd be very efficient, and it would really be challenging for the world to contemplate such a system. So that said, the management of this information, the summation of it, the generation of statistics from it, the generation of substantive, actionable information from all of this input would need to be organized, structured, designed, refined constantly, improved constantly, would never be perfect, and would be as integrous and effective and efficient as we could possibly make it and continue to make it. And it would become more complex over time because you cannot have a functional democracy as a nation or as a global community unless you have an educated population. You cannot have people operate in orchestrated union unless they have shared understandings, information, synchronizing information, consensus attainment, support systems, collective understanding support systems, ways for them to get on the same page on very basic issues. Now, what we tend to use are judgment, bias, prejudice, and drama as mechanisms of getting people on the same page at the same time. Vilification of those that we disagree with politically or socially or internationally or competitively. And we try to get people to resonate with that fearful, fear-driven, judgment-driven, competitive, and often hateful process as a way to align people. We would suggest that's not going to work anymore. That's not going to be our future. It can't happen, not successfully. And if we did attain collective, judgmental, critical, hateful perspective towards any perceived enemy in the world, it wouldn't last. It would be a very short-term process. It would not be sustainable, and it certainly wouldn't be healthy, and it wouldn't be conscious, and it wouldn't be evolvable, and it wouldn't generate a sustainable life process for humanity. So we can either get there with conscious collaboration, or the more the likely scenario would be we would dial back human potential. We'd fall backward as a species into economic and technological and social dysfunction, fragment, fall apart, like the threads that were holding a quilt together being pulled apart. and and things would get rougher in the future rather than better. And we certainly wouldn't be able to work together to resolve climate change issues. So we would likely continue burning fossil fuels, create more climate change, and have more destructive weather events that we would be less capable of managing or the results of. Thus, we wouldn't be able to put out the fires. We wouldn't be able to save people from hurricanes, and we wouldn't have sustainable supply chains to bring resources to those in need. So starvation potentially. Right now, UNICEF has said there are 1 billion children that are at risk in our world. That's direct, severe risk from climate change dynamics. And that's just in the near future. If we dial things in well, hopefully that number would diminish over time. If we don't, that number might increase. We've got to get our values straight. We've got to get what we care about clearly in mind, what's truly important, focused on consistently and sustainably. If we don't, then we'll just keep doing what we're doing while things degrade. And we will have allowed it to occur out of ignorance or fear or mistrust or misinformation or doubt, not having faith in ourselves, in each other, in spirit, in our potential, other nations. We have the opportunity now, right this moment. If we hadn't made every choice we'd made as a species up until now, we wouldn't be talking on Zoom. We wouldn't be communicating from around the globe in this conversation. We wouldn't be able to converse about the possibility of generating a technology that will allow us to work together collaboratively and learn together and evolve together and work together and solve issues together and generate a sustainable life process for humanity together. So judging any moment of our past up until this point it's water under the bridge. It's spilled milk. That's wasted energy. We don't have that collective energy to waste. We do have it now in this moment if we forgive every moment of our past as peoples, as individuals, as nations. We do have the potential to apply all of that energy right now, brilliantly, precisely, exactingly, consistently, sustainably, effectively, and efficiently. We have this moment to do that. We're offering an option. We're calling it the social movement engine. We're not saying it's the end all be all. We're not saying it's the only way to move forward. We're saying there are ways. This is a way. It can work. We can do it. The question is, can you imagine doing so? Can you hold that vision in mind, in heart, in soul of actually doing that? Let go of the tribe, let go of the past, let go of the wounds, let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, let go of all the projections, let go of all the distrust and mistrust, and let go of the desires, the attachment and the aversion dynamics that would distract from people coming together collaboratively and getting the job done, doing what's necessary to be done now, within the next 8 years, and then continuing that for the next 100. And by doing so, giving all future generations a chance to have a life, to have love, to have happiness, to find joy, to realize themselves as souls, and allowing all the other species on the planet to do the same. The bears, the fish, the insects, the frogs, they all get to live. We might not value their lives the way that they would. We may not care. We have obliterated so many species. And we can learn. We can learn to care. We can learn to love. We really need to learn a whole new way of loving on this planet. Everything, everyone, every being. If we choose to learn, we have a mechanism and a system for facilitated learning and all of these profound and necessary dimensions of life and soul process. If we implement that, if we choose to do that, if we intend to do that, if we resource for that, technologize for that. Technology isn't a bad word, and it's been misused, absolutely, to our detriment, collectively and individually. We can change that. We have the option in this very moment. All that is required is a choice.